look at we're going to talk about the 2014 Farm Bill. But before we get started, I'd like to just introduce a few people here. Deb in the room here, is she outside? Oh, Deb Slider, would you stand? She's the Young Farmer Advisor. And Maureen Shear is she's out front there, she's our president. From Rural Insurance, we have Bob Moore and Robin Hilliard and Kathy Fry. They're all from our farm department. And Bob will be running a camera tonight. We're going to record this and then post it on, there'll be a link on our website that you'll be able to go and review it if you want to. And if you know some friends that wanted to be here that couldn't make it, they'll be able to go there and look at it. We'll kind of split it up into segments, like the milk segment and the crop segment and so forth, so it's easier to navigate. Before we get started, I want to be succinct here. Just a reminder, this has nothing to do specifically with this meeting, but since I got a bit of a captive audience, crop insurance. Those of you that have crop insurance, this is just a reminder. Corn prices are dropping, which means if you have revenue coverage, revenue policy, that means that your trigger yield for a revenue claim is going to be moving up. And so it depends on what level of coverage you have, plus how much the price drops. So if you're chopping corn for silage or taking it off as high moisture corn, you may want to call your agent, hopefully it's us, and talk to them about getting an appraisal done before you start chopping. Because if the price of corn drops low enough and you end up not having the yield you thought, and you think you have a revenue loss, if you put it in a silo or took it off as high moisture corn, it's too late to appraise it and you may be out a claim payment. And we like to pay crop insurance claims when we can. So that's just a piece of advice. Don't be waiting until after the fact, because we won't know what the harvest price is until the first week of November, and all your corn silage and high moisture corn will be in the silo and it's too late to appraise it. So have a conversation with your agent about that if you're concerned. I was going to have a crop book. I'll get the other thing at the end here about a crop record book. So what we're trying to do tonight, we have three or four presenters. We have John Berry from Berks-Lehigh County, Penn State. He's an educator for Penn State. I think a lot of you already know John. I believe John is probably one of the most knowledgeable individuals in our area here about the Farm Bill. We have Alan Zepp from Center for Dairy Excellence, who will be talking about the margin protection program. I always get that mixed up. I want to put some of the words there in that acronym. And then we have Joe Baffia and Jerry Reichert here from Rain Hill Insurance, crop insurance, who will be talking about how crop insurance fits into this whole thing. So we're going to kind of move through here. Bob will be up and down with the camera, so don't let that distract you. So I'm going to ask John to come, and he's going to give us about a 5-minute quick snapshot of what's going on, and then Alan will be on after him. So, welcome, John.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
It does me good to see all your bright, smiling faces here this evening. I'm glad all the smart people in Lancaster County decided to be here to learn a little bit more about the implications of the 2014 Food, Farm, and Energy Bill. I'll leave off my jokes about politicians. I was going to pick on politicians a little bit because this whole thing is driven by our federal, elected Congress and Senate and the President signing what they passed to him. I was a little bit disappointed that the previous Farm Bill was extended 2 years to get us to today, rather than updating the Farm Bill when it was due. It was a subject, I believe, of just a lot of political wrangling. There wasn't really any reason it wasn't put into place on time. It's just people picking on each other, in my opinion. But I'm glad, I think the middle of February, they did finally sign the Farm Bill we're actually operating under today. It's going to be good from the 2014 year through 2018. I'll remind you, though, I tend to be a little cynical. If the last Farm Bill took a couple extra years until they got a new one, we might expect something like that to happen again. So the decisions we're going to make here when we sign up for these new Farm Bill programs in the next month or two, 3, are going to be the decisions we're going to operate our farms with at least through 2018. To me, that makes it a fairly important consideration. I don't know about your farms, but you can look back to the payments you've received from the government to date and think about how important they were to the cash flow of your business. And to me, that's the money we have at risk that we need to make an informed decision about how best to capture the most government benefit we can in the future. So I'm glad to see you all show up here today learn a little bit more about it. I think one of the challenges, though, with learning more about the Farm Bill is the details aren't available yet, except in parentheses, they just released the final details for the dairy program today. But many of the other programs, we don't yet know all the final, down in the mud kind of details. We kind of know 90% what's going to happen, and that's what the education you're going to share tonight is based on. But the sign-up is going to be soon. The challenge, I think, is anybody busy at home over the next couple of months? So imagine, so nobody's busy at home. The details aren't final yet, so we don't know anything about it. We're going to be dealing with the personnel at our county FSA office. They don't know anything yet either, really. I believe some of them are getting trained today in State College over the next couple of days. They're finally getting some education on this program. With recent consolidation of farm credit or farm service agency offices, we have more and more farms working through less and less farm service agency personnel. So it's a new program to them. It's a new program to us. I think we're all going to need, did you notice out there on the sign-in table there was some stress tester cards? Take your stress tester card with you when you go to the FSA office to sign up. I think there's going to be a little bit of stress generated there. The challenge, I think, and I'm going to conclude my remarks and turn it over to you, Alan, but I think the biggest challenge for me, and I'm focusing on the grain products that are available through the new FSA programs. The challenge is they've used new concepts, they've used new vocabulary words to help us address our farm risk. And so the challenge for me has been to somehow make sense of these new concepts and relate it to the new vocabulary words, and then I can start making some intelligent decisions on how it applies to the management of my individual farms. So I'm hoping you're here, when you leave here tonight, I'm hoping you're a little bit better educated on the new concepts and the new vocabulary words. Alan's going to be sharing with us the, lip sync me again there, Milk Margin Protection Program that could be significant for many dairy farmers. When Alan's done, I'm going to talk about the programs available for corn, wheat, and soybeans.